Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, November 27th. So this video is a little discouraging to have to make, so as I mentioned in my past few videos, treatment was not helping very much. Basically what was happening was there was one patient in particular who shall remain nameless, of course. I'll just use the first letter of her name, which is M. So M basically just wasn't eating. And the staff didn't really do anything about that. Okay, let me just also say that that wasn't the only problem, but that was one of the biggest problems. And, you know, she was there before me, so when I got there on the 13th, that day at lunch, she ate 100%, and everybody was really surprised. Because when we did checkout, after meals, you have to say, like, I ate this percent, and I feel however you feel. She said, I ate 100%, and I feel whatever she said, and everybody was like, wow, I've never seen you eat 100%, da-da-da, and I was just like, whatever. I didn't really think anything of it. But that persisted. Well, not the eating 100% part, the problem with eating 100%. And she just, it didn't appear to me like she was trying. And, you know, she would, basically she just didn't eat, like, ever. She would sit there and pick at her food and poke at it for the whole time. Like, if a meal was an hour or 45 minutes, she'd basically eat, like, a little bit and then poke and pick and, like, be super triggering for the rest of it. And maybe I'm a little bit of a stickler for rules. I know I am. And I hate preferential treatment. I don't like to get it, and I don't like when other people get it. Which is something that, the way I've been that way my entire life. And I was so triggered by her behavior. And I made that known to my primary therapist, and he suggested I bring it up in process group. Well, I don't like to do that because I have a little bit of a hot temper. And I'm afraid I'll say something the wrong way and, like, you know, because that's happened. So I was being really careful not to do that. Anyway, it got brought up. I was assertive. I mean, another girl who we'll call B helped me out in that area, kind of like helping me, backing me up, whatever you want. I mean, not backing me up exactly, but I was kind of like reluctant to say something. So then she said, well, I feel like da-da-da-da. And I went, yeah, that's it. So that helped. And it was brought up, and M acknowledged whatever, and, you know, made every day her goal was to eat 100%, and she never did, is the thing. Almost never. And there was just lots of stuff like that, but she was the biggest problem. So a week ago yesterday, Monday of last week, she was right next to me at dinner and didn't touch anything, basically, and was engaging in eating disordered behavior, cutting up macaroni noodles. Like, they're this big. You don't need to cut them up. Saying that food made her want to purge or whatever, and I'm going, you picked your meal plan, like, why did you choose that? But I didn't say any of this. I just, like, I was, like, shaking in my chair. I was so upset, because when I see people that aren't eating, I don't want to eat either. I mean, I already don't want to eat, but I never got supplemented one time. The whole time I was there, I ate 100% every day. And, like, but my eating disorder voice in my head, which isn't actually a voice, for the record, but the thoughts or whatever, get so much louder when I'm forced to sit and watch somebody being triggering for an hour. Like, I couldn't get out of there. You can't just get up and leave, you know, and they wouldn't let me leave. If I left, I'd have been breaking the rules, blah, blah, blah. And I somehow managed to eat 100% no matter what. And my therapist just kept telling me, well, you need to find a way to, you know, focus on you and get your needs met. And I'm going, why do you think I'm telling you? Like, I'm saying, change this. The staff needs to enforce this stuff. Like, because she would sit there and not eat and, like, you know, rip stuff apart and everything, and they wouldn't say anything. And I'm like, you know, what's the point of even having guidelines if you're not gonna, you know, do anything? Sorry, my eye really itches. So, that was last Monday. Last Monday was bad. Yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we have dinner at the clinic. Like, we get there at 9 and we don't leave till after 6. Wednesday and Friday, the 2 meals at the clinic are breakfast and lunch, so we leave at like 4 or 5. Yesterday, we had dinner at the clinic, and I had just talked about this. In the group that went from 4:30 to 5, it was like a reflections group, I had just gone over this. Like how I was having a really hard time because of something else that was going on. And people were like, how can we support you, da-da-da. And I didn't even say anything about that, but somebody brought it up and said, well, you know, we know it's hard for you when, you know, people don't eat or whatever, so blah, blah, blah. I don't remember really what was said at that point, but I just remember that we had just gone over it. And then right after that, we had dinner, and she didn't eat a thing. I was shaking so hard that, like, I had my elbows on the table and, like, my hands right here, and I was shaking, like, I mean, I was, like, really shaking, and my knife and fork were, like vibrating on my tray because, like, my elbows were on it, and, like, I was just shaking. And I couldn't breathe. I was like, I can't believe this is going on. I've talked to my primary, like, 4 times. Also, Corky came in yesterday and kind of let him have it, you know, about this. Sorry, my heart's doing that weird, like, skip thing, so it's been skipping for a week. Whatever. Anyway, so, I was like, fuck this. You know, the first weekend was okay. Last weekend was awful. I mean, it was wearing on me. How can I, you know, get any better when every step I take is counteracted by watching somebody not eat? This is an eating disorder clinic. For heaven's sake, why are we there? If not to, you know, counter these thoughts and these actions. And I don't know, I felt like it was really unsafe. And I also felt like I was being brushed off every time I tried to, you know, alleviate the situation. So, last night, when I was driving home, the only way I made it home was by counting from 1 to 100 in Russian 3 times. Because I actually have to think to do that. So I couldn't really, like, cry. Because if I would have, like, let myself cry, I couldn't have seen the road. I got home, and I just stood there, and I tried to tell Corky he was home, and I said, I can't even get my mouth to form the words to tell you what just happened. And so he said, whatever, and then he said, well, what happened? And so I had to tell him. I couldn't, like, I was crying. I was like, like a child. I haven't done that since I was a kid. Like, I was crying so hard I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was gonna throw up and, like, pass out. And I just cried. Like, I was, like, screaming. I was crying so hard. And I wasn't screaming mad. I was just screaming, crying. Like, ah, ha, 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 like, sobbing like I have not done. And he was like, I've never seen you look like this. I don't ever want to see you look like this again. They're not helping you. And he was pissed. Because this shouldn't have been happening. So, hang on, I'm going to make a part 2 to this video because I'm running out of time. So, sit tight. Don't move.